Thanks, Vivek. Maybe time for class.
But I will suggest you to look for a project manager's role. Maybe you can be like maybe start with the small projects and then get into PMO, because PMO means you want to have a part of the group which helps project management in terms of providing support, in terms of templates, in terms of processes, in terms of monitoring, in terms of like helping out on the job sometime. So it's important to understand the project manager's role by doing it.
Sure.
So where you will be located in India?
I come from Andhra Pradesh, but maybe somewhere in the north I'm looking, Delhi or
Delhi, Gurgaon.
Delhi, Gurgaon, Pune,
Okay.
that side, because I've worked in south, so I thought I would just get the exposure of north as well.
Okay. Any other question? I couldn't send you the link for the recordings. All recordings are available actually. After this session, I will send you the links for all the recordings also. Did anyone manage to attempt these questions for procurement?
Yeah, Vivek, I have got a question on the 20.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, Vivek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could we please look at question number 25? Okay.
I am myself.
Give me a moment to open this. I didn't open it.
Sure.
Anybody else who want to discuss any question?
Anybody else who want to discuss any question? I'm good, Vivek.
Okay.
Oh, I got 25 right. Okay. Do you have it, Vivek? Are you ready?
Yes. Tell me which number.
No, you said look at question 25. So
Yeah.
do you want me to read it out, or do you want to discuss?
I read it out. A manufacturing company signed a contract with a supplier to supply 500 parts in a year. From the contract starting date, by the end of the parts and sellers fulfill the order. What should be done to close this contract?
That is where I come from. You need a
Yes.
contract for 500 parts. Whether you ship or not, you pay for it. So therefore, you should ship it.
Okay, so Markan, this is the practical advice from the practice person who is practicing.
Exactly.
Because I got confused because I read only, it said seller fulfilled the order, so I thought seller had accepted. Maybe I would have understood the question wrong.
So,
No, it's very simple.
yeah, Jaira, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Why do you have a contract then? If you're not gonna fulfill, it's the simple cause of the contract. The very reason, the seldom reason of having the contract. It's the heart of it. So that everybody fulfills their obligations.
Thanks.
Good. So this question I need not to answer. In fact, the procurement is the subject. I think it's Jaira's subject.
Yeah.
Any other? Okay, so let us go to the presentation for today. Okay, so stakeholder is the last knowledge area, and after that what we will cover is the code of professional conduct by PMI, because the normally ethical questions are also asked, so we need to attend that thing also separately. Okay, so project stakeholder management is one of the most important, in my opinion. My personal opinion is that this is one of the most important chapter. Whatever the projects I have seen, most of the projects have failed or succeeded because of the good or bad stakeholder management strategies. Most of the surprises come from the stakeholders who will remain unknown for a long time, appear all of a sudden, and change the direction of the project altogether. So it is important that we should identify all the stakeholders on the project, even those people who are not actively participating in the project. But these people can influence the project or can get influenced by the project. So then the stakeholder management, here the process is identifying all the stakeholders, analyzing what kind of roles they are going to play in project, how they going to influence the project, how they will get influenced, how we can engage them in the project, how we can get the things fulfilled by them and their expectation can be fulfilled by the project. And definitely there will be some issues, there will be some conflict, and there should be some human issues which we need to proactively look for and address them before they hit the project. There are 4 processes in this. The first one is the identify stakeholder. Second is planning the stakeholder management, that is preparing a stakeholder management plan, that how we're going to engage stakeholders in the project, how we're going to address their needs and how they will be involved in the project's need. Then manage the stakeholders engagement as per the stakeholder management plan, and then controlling it. Management and managing a stakeholder and controlling stakeholders are very near to each other, and in fact controlling is also a kind of management. The identify stakeholder is the only second process in initiation. Oh, this was initiation. Okay. The process, initiation process group is preparing a project charter. So when we start the project, the 2 things are most important, that prepare a project charter and identify other stakeholders. Go into the project, define a scope, or do anything. First, these two things should be done. In the planning process, we have to prepare a stakeholder management plan. In execution, we need to manage the engagement of the stakeholders and then controlling the engagement. So if you see there's an input to this process, there is a project charter because that's the only thing which we have done before it. And second is procurement document. It will come when we decide to procure something outside of the organization, because it brings some new stakeholders into the project, and those need to be analyzed and understood, and a strategy need to be formed. We do a stakeholder analysis, and based on that we create a stakeholder register with a strategy that how we're going to manage these stakeholders or basically engage these stakeholders. So project charter gives us several stakeholders which are initially identified. It gives us the objectives, the business case, which will help us to identify stakeholders which are relevant to this project. And definitely procurement document also, because the supplier related stakeholders come into picture. So we need experts who have done stakeholder management, and basically stakeholder management is a soft skill dealing with the people as such. So if they are experts, we need to involve them and do a stakeholder analysis, identifying all the stakeholders and preparing a plan for them. For that, we normally use 2 models. Not as such two models, mainly we use this model. There is a grid model, there is a salience model. The salience model also used, but it's being a little complicated comparing to that. So it is not so popular. One thing which is popular here is the grid model, and in grid model 2, it is the power and interest grid which normally used. So how do we use it? We identify a stakeholder, closely related or remotely related, and try to map that stakeholder on this grid and put him in one of the quadrant based on his engagement, his power and interest. Okay, so power is defined as like stakeholders' capability of changing the things in the project. Okay, can bring the changes in the project. The interest means how much he can get impacted by the project, and influence means what is the degree of his involvement in the project, engagement in the project. So we identify all the stakeholders, and each stakeholder we put on this grid. So in the normal project, if you take any project of you and just let's try to map these stakeholders, that who should be in the monitor, who should be in keep informed, who should be in manage closely, who should be keep satisfied. So the people who have low power and low interest, they are in monitor. You know, it is very similar to the risk management. In the risk management, we do the impact of that risk is. If the risk is getting low, we keep it in the watch list. So this monitor is nothing but a watch list. If the power is high but the interest is low, we put this person into the keep satisfied. Shrikant, can you mute yourself? Okay, so normally in the organization you have seen some vendor management team is there, procurement team. So what the vendor management team does is actually deal with the vendors. They are not interested in the project, but for the vendor management team is very important because they can kick the vendor out anytime. Very influential, the power is very high, but their interest in the project is low. So they can be mapped here. Now the people who have high interest but the power is low, they are normally here. Can you think of some stakeholders who are generally almost in all the projects who can be kept in this quadrant? Anyone?
Could be media.
Media means something like
if you're releasing a yeah. If you're releasing a mobile phone, let us say, and their interest in that product would be high, but the power of their power on the project, I guess, will be low.
Probably right. Media could be here because you just need to inform them. Like nowadays the elections are going on in India, so most of the party want to keep informed media. But actually media is quite powerful also in case of election.
Yeah.
Anybody else here? Think of your project and see who are the
Project
people
team
who
and
can
will have
should be
a-
kept informed only, because they don't have much power.
I was going to say internal and external communications. In the case external is the media.
I didn't get properly. I think size mic is also on. Yeah, Jairak.
Yeah, my mic is on, but it's perfect silence here.
Okay. Jairak, can you say it again? Yeah, I think because of the size mic is on, so you can say it again now.
I said internal and external communications, which is external would be the media.
Yeah, but media is not normally in all the projects. Let's think about very common projects. Let's think about the project which we discussed yesterday, our case study. We can find out somebody who can be mapped here.
Project team member.
Project team member.
Yeah.
Is
Should
it
be-
a sponsor?
Sponsor.
Yeah.
I think sponsor is pretty powerful person.
Again, internal and external people who have stake in the project, which could be the customer, the financier, vendors, and depending on the dollar value of the project, the stakeholders gets bigger.
Right, but we can always think of some common stakeholders like a sponsor. A sponsor is a pretty powerful person in my opinion. He may not be much interested in the project, or maybe could be interested also in the project. He may either here or here, depending upon his interest.
Yeah, it could be the financial sponsor.
Financial sponsor, I think, would be keep satisfied, because if they stop the finance, then your project is on task. Their interest may not be there.
Is it the vendors?
Yeah, vendors are normally not so powerful unless they have a patent.
Keep informed. The technical team from the application operation side and the customer side, both parties, project managers, and their technical teams. If we narrow it down a little bit.
What about client project manager?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Both the client and the application organization project managers.
Where they should be?
They should be keep satisfied because they are the frontliners. Actually, they should hear everything first.
Right, but I think client project managers would be talking to you almost everyday basis, would be pretty interested in the project because he get impacted by the project. His performance is also in the stake.
So we want people wanna be keep informed, but not daily basis.
Your functional managers.
In the operation.
Your functional managers do not have power in the project, but they have an interest because their performance depends on the project. Not your function manager can come here. In fact, the client project manager is here because he's day and day night in the project. So his interest, his future depend upon this project. Like if I am the project manager of this project, then my future depend upon this. So I am interested, also powerful. Same as client project manager is very interested and powerful. The functional managers may not be having the power. Sometimes client's project manager's manager could be little critical, or the unit in which head of the unit in which the client project manager is working, because that unit probably be owning this project, and the head of that unit may not come into the picture unless this project is impacting his unit profitability or finance or something like that.
Performance.
So suppose your project is there, but for the unit head, this project is not very important, and sometimes he has a crunch of money, then he will start doing some portfolio management, right? Which are the projects which are important for me, not important for me, and your project, if falls into not important to him, he will come and close the project, right? To the surprise of everyone in the project. So therefore, in fact, most of the time I have seen such kind of things happening. We have never identified that person as a stakeholder on this project. All of a sudden, he comes in the project and he says this project is not so important for them, they are going to close this, or they're going to put on hold. So that's why it's important that the people who are closely related to the project, also remotely related to the project, should be identified, and if they are not continuously be involved in the project, some understanding before these things are happening. So if you see that normally Teams lies here because Teams doesn't have power. But if you see the yesterday's case study, especially Monica can be classified differently because a lot of things depend upon her. And more things depend on a person, it becomes more and more powerful. So not all team members are same. If I have to put or map Monica on this grid, I will put her here. Because a lot of things depend upon her, and if as she resigned, then everybody is in trouble. Who will take care of the project now? So they are greatly impacting the project, and that's the power. So this looks simple, but when you do this, you will see this become an art. More you do, more you learn how to do this. It's whenever I have done, it's never be so simple. It's very difficult actually. And in projects, when I have done this kind of analysis, I have changed them multiple times over a period, because my understanding about those stakeholders is changing. Especially those stakeholders who are little remotely related to the project. Not every day they are involved, because the knowledge about them is very low. When we put them here and try to map them, we find that it has become difficult, and that triggers our efforts to know more about them, and that's help us to manage them well. If this analysis we do not do, those people will be never come into picture, or we never think about them, and they are normally quite powerful, or they're getting impact like user. User may not be having power, it looks like, but they are very highly interested in the project because they are getting impacted by that. And if user is on the client side, then if he says this system is not acceptable to them, or this is not working for them, you see this power they have. So initially when we talk about users, they say they are interested, they don't have power, but they are very powerful actually. So I will say you try to do this on your projects, and every project you try to do, you will see, you will discover a lot of mistakes. And more you do, more you become expert in this. This is an art actually. The second model is salience model. It is not commonly used, but in this broadly, the people are divided into three characteristics called power, urgency, and legitimacy. And the total 8 categories are formed. So first means the people who have power, but there is no urgency and no legitimacy in the project. They are dormant, means they don't do anything, but they are lying there, but don't do anything because there is no interest in the project. But they need to be monitored continuously. The second is discretionary, because they have a lot of positional thing into their reasonable interest in the project. Their official things are there with them for the project, they're connected with the projects. The people who are in the third, that is the urgency, they are normally demanding. They may not be having power, but they may be demanding a lot. Probably they are getting impacted by the project. Like your functional managers, we keep asking you the status, keep asking you a lot of things, because they are impacted by your actions, and they are not on the drive, but they're getting impacted. So they keep asking you a lot of things. The fourth is dominant, means power with legitimacy. Fifth are dangerous. There is urgency and the power also. Six are dependent, because there is no power. There is a legitimacy, there is a urgency also. All three things have the pure stakeholder on the project. Your project manager, client project manager. Everything else is a non-stakeholder. So what do we do after this analysis? We create a stakeholder register where we write down who is the stakeholder, how the stakeholder is involved in the project, in which category he is classified or he she classified, how this person can impact the project, and how we are going to deal with this stakeholder. You have some kind of strategy, initial strategy. You know, when we identify a risk, here also when we identify a stakeholder, we also try to find a potential strategy. You have the stakeholders and a potential strategy with you, and how this person going to be engaged in the project, how this person is going to impact the project. We go ahead and prepare a stakeholder management plan, that how we're going to engage the stakeholders in the project. We use some analytical skills to form strategies and action items for managing the stakeholders. The idea of this process is to chart a clear actionable plan to interact with the stakeholders to support the project's interest. So you need definitely people who are experienced in doing so, but there is an analytical technique which specifically we use here. And this in analytical technique, we categorize the stakeholders in 5 categories. The first is unaware. That means the stakeholder is there, but he is not concerned about the project. He is unaware of the project, is unaware of the potential impact by him or her or to him or her. The second type of stakeholder is resistant, means any changes happen in the project, he resists the change. Third is neutral, neither support nor resist. The fourth one is supportive. That means when you bring the changes, normally support the changes in the project. And fifth one is leading. That is, he leads the effort in the project. It's very closely involved, very actively involved with the project and leading some of the efforts in the project, taking initiative in the project. Now, when we categorize stakeholders in one of these categories, so suppose some stakeholder is unaware, but we want this person to be on the project, and suppose we need stakeholders for requirement gathering. Now this person is unaware. We want this person to be supportive so that we can get the better and good requirements from this stakeholder. Now this analytical skill helps us to move the stakeholder from one state to another state. So we normally prepare this kind of matrix, the stakeholder, various stakeholders and the 5 states of the stakeholder. And what is the current state? We write a C, and what we want we write D. So for stakeholder 1, who is totally unaware of the project or project's impact, we need requirements from this stakeholder. We want him to move to the supporting state. For that, we prepare a stakeholder management strategy, engagement strategy, so that we can move this person from unaware to supportive state. Stakeholder 2 is currently neutral. We want him to be supportive. Stakeholder 3 is currently neutral, also currently supportive. We want to maintain that state. or there could be some stakeholder who is neutral and we want him to take some lead in the project. And around this, we prepare our stakeholder management plan. Okay. So prepare a stakeholder management plan. And the idea is to how we can effectively engage stakeholder into the project. How we can move them from current state to the desired state. How we can distribute the information which stakeholders are looking for, provide them that information, and get the information what a stakeholder is supposed to provide. We prepare a meet the person or engage the person in the way he wants to get engaged with the project. So we define language, format, timeline, frequency to distribute the information or to gather the information, both the things. So basically the stakeholder management plan is about updating the stakeholder management plan continuously throughout the life cycle, engaging the stakeholder in the project, defining its scope, preparing a strategy to move from current state to desired state, and continuously updating the stakeholder management plan. Now once you have a stakeholder management plan, we can execute that plan, and during the execution phase of the project, we can engage the stakeholders as per our plan. As we have already understood earlier, the stakeholders' influence is very high in the beginning, but as the project progresses, the stakeholders' influence goes down. So more you progress into the project, the power of influence actually come down, and the basically reason is that the cost of change actually increases. So because the cost of the change increases, the stakeholders' influence of changing the things, because the things have already produced, and if you bring the changes, it will require a lot of rework. So stakeholders' influence is limited, and that limitation actually increases as the project progresses. So idea here is to foster the stakeholder engagement throughout the project life cycle, talking to them, engaging them, and confirming their commitment, negotiate with them time to time for the needs of the stakeholder, for the needs of the project. Another thing is important here is potentially identifying the issues which can hit the stakeholders' interest or the project's interest and proactively resolving them. And for that, we not only need a stakeholder management plan, but we also need communication. In fact, the communication management and stakeholder management are very close to each other. Till 4th version of pmwares, in fact, there was no stakeholder management knowledge area. It was only communication management area, where we are addressing all these things. it was not so defined as defined now. So a couple of process taken out from the communication and a separate knowledge area is created, and some more processes are added into this, like how we can engage stakeholders. So basically, to engage the stakeholders, our management skills which are normally required, which are normally play a significant role. And one important thing you are seeing in the output is preparing an issue log. The idea of preparing an issue log is that anything any stakeholders, any point raises is raised by the stakeholder, or any stakeholder raises any point, any question, any item, anything which to be addressed, we should immediately log this into issue log, so that we can track it to the closer. Though it is so simple, but let me tell you, I have seen very few projects where a issue log is maintained. So communication management plan will provide us that how the information will be distributed, in what format, in what language, at what frequency, in what time frame, to whom, or what is the escalation process, who will receive what information at what time and what frequency. Actually, this is done in a nutshell. So our interpersonal skill and management skills are normally play a significant role in engaging the stakeholders. And as per my experience, I can tell you this is the most important skill. Very few people have, and normally there is no formal training program on active listening. There is a program on communication skills, but active listening is a very small part of that, and this plays a very significant role. The people who do not listen actively cannot take effective decisions or cannot take effective actions. So as a project manager, we should be having skills to direct the stakeholders in an appropriate direction. We should get the information from the stakeholders and also actively look into the interest of the stakeholders and see that they are fulfilled. So we should have the capability and the skills and should proactively direct the things. So don't think that the stakeholder is powerful or not powerful. And at the end of the day, the project manager's duty is to direct the things. So appropriate skills are to be used with an appropriate language, with an appropriate method, so that you can direct the stakeholders in a right direction, so that they can contribute very positively. Negotiate agreement to satisfy the project needs. Modify organizational behavior to accept the project outcome. Okay, so basically the normal management skills and interpersonal skills which are of great use here. And the most important item is issue log. This can also lead to update the various organization processes. The last point in this is the controlling the stakeholder engagement. As I said, controlling and managing is not very different. So very few things here. We have issue log as an input because this is what we are tracking mainly here. We are continuously monitoring the stakeholder engagement, the relationship, and their inputs and their takeaway from the project, and manage and trying to control them, updating the stakeholder management plan continuously, looking at the work performance information, work performance data, and seeing the actual versus plan, and see if the stakeholders are engaged properly, they are providing inputs and getting the required information from the project. So there is an information management system which is normally used to distribute information, to collect information, to format the information, and provide the information to the stakeholders. Okay, so change request as usual of all the control processes. Here also change request is one of the, and work performance information. That is the plan versus actual. What we plan as a stakeholder engagement or a stakeholder management plan, and what exactly we are doing, and if there is connection required, then making those corrections. Okay, so this is the end of stakeholder management. Any question?
So Vivek, you told stakeholder management is very important. Is it because it's a new module added to the latest Sprinbook?
It is the other way around. Because it is very important, and added, a module is added.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is this the module which is added,
In 5th edition.
recently?
Yes, in 5th
Okay.
edition.
Okay. Thank you.
Any question?
I think we can move on to the professional responsibility.
Yes. So basically it is not any knowledge area, but when PMI asks questions on any knowledge area, in some of the questions, the response maybe they were looking from the ethical point of view. The answer should not only be right, but also be ethically right. So earlier a specific percentage was allocated to professional responsibility, about 9%, but they have removed this percentage from the 4th edition, and now these.
Vivek, by me.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. So I think by ethics you are talking about personal ethics, right?
Right. Personal ethics means the PMI code of conduct.
Oh, okay.
But that is nothing different than personal ethics. So what they are expecting also come into personal ethics. So the response could be ethical as such instead of the knowledge area related. But the context, the background will be of some knowledge area. It will be a situation in the project, but the response would be expected as it. Are you ethically also very aware what should be done? Okay, so personal ethics, or I will say any society expects some kind of behavior from their members. This code of conduct of PMI is no different than that. So whatever any society expects from its member, the same thing is here. It will be reiterated, like you should speak the truth, you should do the things honestly, and the same things are here. Okay, but often the situations are very gray and it becomes very difficult to understand that what is right and what is wrong. So listen to your heart, and that is what normally take you to the right direction. So in case of doubt, play safe in this direction. Okay, so there is a conflict of interest. If there is a doubt, disclose it. Okay, so idea here is to do the right things, follow the right processes, act ethically, fairly and professionally, watch for conflict of interest or potential of conflict of interest and stay away. Report if you observe any violation, and if there is a problem, if there is a conflict, then deal with it upfront. Talk to the person with whom you have problem. This code of conduct applies to all the PMI members, all the PMP certification holder, all the people who have applied to PMP certification, all the volunteers of PMI. It does not apply to people who have not in either of these groups I have just mentioned. There are 4 parts of it, that you take your responsibility, respect yourself and others, act fairly, and display an honest behavior. Okay, every society expects from this member the same way. There are 2 types of expectations. One is aspirational and the other is mandatory. Aspirational standards are not optional. They are also mandatory. but they are difficult to measure. While mandatory standards can be measured easily. Okay. So the only difference Hello?
Yes, Vivek, we can hear you.
Yeah. I think there was some kind of audio outage. Okay, so aspirational standards are not optional. They are also mandatory, but they are difficult to measure, while the mandatory standards can be measured easily and can be displayed very in a more black and white manner, while the aspirational standards are normally gray, very difficult to see them in black and white, and therefore they are called aspirationals. So what is the responsibility? That we should take the ownership of our decisions we make or fail to make. So it is our duty to make decisions in the project, being an authority, and we should take ownership of the results of those decisions also. As part of the mandatory standards, we should uphold the policies, rules, regulation, law of the land and the organizations and in the group we are working. If we find any unethical behavior or illegal conduct, we should report it to the appropriate authority. And if there is a retaliation exercise when an unethical behavior is reported, we should pursue a disciplinary action against the whistleblowers. As part of the aspirational standards, we should act in the best interest of the society, best interest in the project, not in our interest. We are working for the project in a society for an environment around. We should take their interest first before our interest. We should take only those work which are consistent with our qualification and experience. So if I do not have any skills on that skills, walk the talk, do what we say. If we make any error, if we take a wrong decision, we should take the responsibility of the same. We should accept the accountability. There are IPRs, so we should protect the IPRs, the proprietary information, confidential information, and uphold this code of conduct. code of professional conduct. The second item is respect. So respect yourself and others. So if there is a difference of opinion, hear the opinion and respect that opinion. And we should also encourage and help in mutual cooperation, improve the mutual cooperation among the people. We should in good faith. Good faith means in the interest of the project, in the interest of the reasons for the project, in the interest of the objectives of the project. We should not take any decision for our own benefits. Do not act in abusive manner and respect the intellectual property right of the others. Respect the opinion of the others. Respect the decision made by others. We should know the rules, regulation, customs where we are working, or the people with whom we are working. Listen to the point of view or the opinion of the other people and understand that and respect that. If we have a conflict with any person, directly deal with that person. Do not badmouth or do anything behind on the back. Actually, you have to speak to the right person, or do not unnecessarily engage other people who are not right, unnecessary or related. We can directly talk to the person. So the first preference should be given to the directly talking to the person. The third part is fairness. And we should be impartial. We should give equal opportunity to all the people. No favoritism. No self-interest. No prejudice. In case of conflict of interest, we should stay away from any conflict of interest. Not only conflict of interest situation, but if you see any potential of conflict of interest, we should stay away. First thing, we should disclose it to the right appropriate authority. And second thing, we should stay away from such a situation. We should not participate in such a decision making where we are also the beneficiaries. We should not be participating making decisions in such situations. We should not discriminate based on gender, race, age, region, disability, nationality, or sexual orientation. No favoritism, no prejudice. Transparency is one of the important things, and especially when you are dealing with the stakeholder who is geographically away from the project. So transparency has to be maintained. Whatever things are being done need to be disclosed to the person or disclosed to the stakeholders. Whatever decision we make, we should make it more transparent. We should make the mechanism of taking decision transparent to other people in such a manner that everybody has the opportunity to look into this and judge it. We should constantly re-examine our impartiality, and in case any correction is required, we should take the right correction. Provide equal information to all the people, all the candidates of that information intentionally. Provide equal opportunity to all the qualified people. Fourth is honesty. That is, act in truthful manner. We should not engage in any behavior that deceive others. We should not demonstrate any dishonest behavior. We should not mislead. We should not put any false statement. We should not suppress the information because of the suppression, the information meaning actually changes. We should not do anything for personal gain. In any situation, we should try to understand what is truth, looking into the facts, not the opinions. When we communicate, we ensure that what we are communicating, exactly the same thing is getting communicated. We should not suppress the information intentionally to change the meaning of the communication. Provide accurate information, and when we make commitment, we uphold them. We should create an environment, especially in the team, where the other people, other stakeholders, especially team members, should feel safe. We should be in the position to speak out freely without any fear of getting impacted by speaking out differently. Now, how we balance the stakeholders' interest? So when there is a conflict, we should dissolve the conflict, keeping the topmost priorities we should give to the reason of the project for which the project was initiated. The next priority we should give to the project needs, the project charters, the objective of the projects. And the third priority we should give to the project triple constraint, the scope, time, cost. The personal gain is not a factor in this. When we are resolving the conflicts, the personal interests are not having any priority. The first priority is the reason, that is the business case. Second is the objective of the project. Third is the triple constraint. Now, because nowadays the virtual teams are very common, and we are dealing with internationally, the communication make it very simple to communicate across the borders and meet with the people of different cultures. So it is very important to be very professional and very cooperative when we are dealing with the in a cross-culture environment. So a few things which play a significant role here and which are very important, that we should employ the diversity, that this is common to be people coming from diversified backgrounds, and diversity is a way to go. We should prevent culture shock. Culture shock means acting without understanding the other person's environment. So try to understand from where the other person has come from, what are the things there, what are the environment there, how the people normally behave, and then act on it. Understand the culture differences. Mainly when the culture difference is there, the openness come into picture, free flow communication come into picture, but more important is that we understand each other. We respect each other's opinion, the ethics, the way of working, the practice, and the cooperation. We should increase the cooperation, restrain any restrain from and in some cases, if it is required, we should provide training so that to improve the overall understanding. So exercise self-control, maintain an open mind, communicate effectively, embrace diversity, exercise tolerance, and exhibit empathy. So this could be very important. So this chapter is also over. I will open this quiz immediately after this session. You can go ahead and attempt these questions. This is what I wanted to cover today. So if you have any question, we can, it is open basically. So we have almost half an hour to discuss. If you have any question related to this or anything which is nearly related to this or any common questions you have, we can discuss about it. I suggest all of you to please complete your quizzes today, all the 3 quizzes. Tomorrow mainly we will discuss any challenges in these quizzes, some common things. I will help you out in providing a kind of a plan to you which you can follow and prepare for PMP exam, and some common guidance. Or if you have any question related to this or nearly related to this, we can discuss those things also. To get the 36 hours certificate, it is important that you should have attended all the sessions and taken all the quiz. Every quiz is contributing 1 hour in this, and if you have not taken one quiz, I have to reduce 1 hour, and the certificate can be issued only for the hours you have been here in the project, in this session and taken the quiz. So to complete 36 hours is very important, all the sessions and all the quizzes. Now if you have missed out 1 or 2 sessions, a full-length exam I have created, which is of 4 hours. This is an additional to that. If you take this exam, and I suggest you all to take this exam. You take this exam, you will be contributing 4 more hours in this session. So your 2 missed session can be compensated, because I believe that you can take the quiz anytime. So if any quiz you have not taken, take it now.
Vivek, when do you plan to load also the full-length exam?
It is already loaded. I'm going to enable it just after this.
Vivek, I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could see a bunch of questions at the end of your handout. So where can I find the answers for those questions?
They are all included in these quizzes.
Pardon?
They are all included in these quizzes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was following that, but I didn't go through each and every question. I thought that, it's out of your the questions you share with us. That's the reason I asked.
Yeah, they all are included in the quizzes.
Okay.
Is the full-length exam will have, is it going to keep the time or not?
Sorry, you were asking about that there is a time or not in the full-length exam?
Yeah, will you, are we gonna take the full exam against the time or like the quizzes, no time?
No, there is a time there. It is
So,
time for 4
Vivek,
hours.
maybe it's a dumb question. So it's like, yeah. So it's like you told it's a 4-hour, 4-hour exam. But can we break up, like if I'm, little bit diverted after two hours, or if I want to take a break after 2 hours, and can I come again and log in and do the rest for next 2 hours, or you have to do it in one stretch?
You have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and complete this by 8 o'clock.
Okay, no breaks allowed.
No breaks allowed.
Wow. Okay. So taking out 4 hours in a stretch is a challenge, Vivek.
You have to do it anyway if you want to take exam.
Okay.
Is the real exam is the real 4-hour exam? That's great.
My voice was breaking actually. Can you say it again? I couldn't hear you. No, there are no breaks in real exam. Once the counter starts, your meter is down. You attempt or don't attempt questions, your meter is down. So after 4 hours, the exam will be automatically submitted.
Vivek, you mean the real PMP exam too?
Right, real PMP exam, it is 4 hours, one shot 4 hours. There is no break.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you.
So once you are in the exam, now you will not, you don't ask for water or you will not go for toilet or something. I'm sure 4 hours are engaging. So, but normally I have seen the people finish the exam little early. So normally people finish this by 3.5 hours or so.
Okay.
Yeah, the exam conducted by us, that is the full-length exam available to you. This is also have no breaks. Once it will start, it starts. After 4 hours, you will not be. It will not allow you to attempt anything. And all the questions will be reshuffling. There are five attempts which are given there. You can try it 5 times. Your questions will be changed. They get reshuffled. It is like that. So it is more unpredictable than quizzes.
Sorry, Vivek, I didn't get that.
I say the question there are 5 attempts you can make. Every time the question would be different and they will be reshuffled also. So some question may repeat, but they will be reshuffled.
Okay, great. So how many questions will be there for one attempt?
200.
Okay, so you are telling that 200 into, if you want to take chances, you will get 1,000 questions, right?
No, they are not 1,000 questions actually. Some questions will
Okay, it
always
will
be
be
repeating.
reshuffled. Okay, the same questions may be repeating on the next chance, right?
Some new, some
It's not
repeating.
1,000 questions, it's 4 into 5 hours, 20 hours.
You want to take you can take more actually. One is, I say for practice, one is sufficient.
Okay. So I got it. Within that,
Yes, sir.
you know, what you mean to tell that within that 4 hours time, you can have options of attending 5 times, right?
Yeah, you can have option to have.
Okay, great. Thanks. Now I got it.
Vivek, I'm just trying to understand, like, and the real exam, you're saying you have 5 attempts to clear it?
No, 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 no. No. Only one attempt. Okay, for next attempt you have to pay, I think, $250 or so.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about the quiz board, the exam board you're going to open up for us, right?
Say it again.
This, what we are talking about right now is the exam board you're going to open up for us, right?
Yeah, it's opened actually.
Yes, Rajesh. It's exclusively for us, the team members.
Okay.
Class members.
Great.
Yeah, it's a simulated one, so it is just to make you
know the number of attempts.
Okay, so I think Kishore is asking some question. Any change in level of difficulty for 4-hour exam, or it is equally spread as the quiz? We have tried to equally spread it. I cannot guarantee, but we have tried our best to equally spread so that you have all kinds of questions. So we are not making it like exactly PMP exam, which is having more situational question, but our idea is to prepare you actually, more preparation than actually doing exact exam. So it is equally, the effort is to equally distribute it.
Tomorrow we are going to do professional responsibility.
Zara, say it again. Okay. Tomorrow what we need to do? You take all the quizzes and you can ask any question. You can ask any question. I will give you some common guidance for the for further preparation. We'll also share with you some for the plan which you can follow for 1 month, and some more common guidance because we have completed the scope as such today. Along the PM book and handouts, do you suggest any other study material book? Yeah, we'll suggest you books, so that will also cover up tomorrow.
Vivek, could you just reiterate, like, how do I make up the 2-hour session that I missed in one of the series?
You missed 2 sessions?
Yeah, actually I missed one of the quality, control quality process sessions. So anyway, I could go through it on the recorded session, but how do I make up for the 36?
Take the exam. Your 4 hours will be covered. Take the exam. Your 4 hours will be covered.
Okay. So 4 hours of training, can be covered by the 4 hours of exam. Okay.
Yeah, this exam is part of the training. So if you take the exam, your 4 hours will be covered. Is there anyone registering any time soon? PMI, okay. So one candidate you have got, Umakant, is doing. I think more people should go for it. Regarding yesterday and case study. So we discussed this yesterday, and the recording is available. I will send you the links to all the recordings. Go through the recording. If you have any question, we'll discuss this tomorrow. You want to know more about the case study? Can we have a study group formed among us? Okay, I think you can do that.
Yeah, if we have some kind of Google group or anything, so that we can post questions and.
Let me do one thing. I think I'm looking for prepare something. I will prepare. I think I will. Whatever I do, I will make a LinkedIn group. Maybe I will make you all there, and then you can discuss among yourself. I will also be there, so if there is any question or there is anything you can post there, I will respond to that. We'll
Yeah,
make
that's
a
a good
close
idea.
group actually.
Yeah, that should be fine. Thanks.
I'm planning for a long time actually. I don't not getting any concrete thing that what should be there. But if you want to discuss among yourself, I think this is a good idea to create a group there. Maybe future
Yeah, I
participant
hope all
also
of
can
you
join there.
You mean LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, I will prepare this on. I think most of the people are LinkedIn, so I will prepare this on LinkedIn.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they are already enabled.
Vivek,
They are already enabled. Email group should do it simply. That is also be okay.
Vivek, I remember we were talking about the difference between project manager and technical manager, and you said there is a webinar, for us to share. Do you have anything on that?